Everybody moving into this country as an immigrant has a story. We do not know how to sell ourselves. A lot of us have done a lot of great things in the past, but we do not know how to sell ourselves. 60% of project management is actually people management. You see that human factor? AI can never do.
Hello there. Welcome to the Borderless podcast. My name is Innocent. I am your host, and today we'll be having on the show with us Fope Davis. He's a prominent face and a prominent name in the project management space. He is someone who's got vast experience in the workspace and also in project management space. He is into quite a lot of things aside project management, but I've known him for a while for project management. And welcome with me, Mr. Fope Davis. Mr. Fope, thank you for coming to the show today. Thank you.
Hi, Innocent. Thank you for having. Um, that was a very interesting introduction about myself. Yes, I'm Fope Davis. I work as a project manager. I have run through, two experiences as a project manager, starting from design and construction up to IT, now into science and technology projects. Um, I've done a lot of projects basically, and currently I'm working on a 40 million pound project that's really um intertwined with the UK government. So yeah, it's been great to it's great to actually be in this podcast.
£40 million. That's a lot of money. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being our guest. We'll just go straight into it, and because we're very curious on our show Borderless Path, we bring in immigrants who have been from one country to another, doing tremendous things and striving to be better person, better versions of themselves in their career and their chosen field. And
Yep.
obviously, you have been able to navigate through all sorts of things as an immigrant, and you're doing very well in project management. So, can you just tell us the unique story and what inspired you to transition into project management?
Yes, thank you for that question, Innocent. So, like you said, everyone has obviously a unique story. Um, I would say mine was born out of some sort of self-realization. And I was like, I think I'm gonna be a project manager. As an immigrant, obviously, we're in a new terrain, and it's more of trying to survive. I mean, that's how it starts from, to
That's true.
see what you can actually survive with, right? Because obviously you're coming to this country, you're going to be paying bills, you're going to be living life fresh, you're going to be, you know, literally starting all over. So for me, it was more of when I was in uni. Interestingly, I'm a trained architect back from home. So coming
Oh,
down here,
from architecture
I
into project management.
yeah. I mean, it's quite interesting, and the journey is very funny, right? So coming into the UK, I applied for a master's degree in building information management. So my plan, I had a plan. My plan was literally to progress my profession as an architect into a BIM professional. So there's this force about BIM in the architecture and construction industry. So that was my plan. I had a plan. It wasn't as if I didn't have a plan. But on getting to the UK, and I funny thing was I came during COVID era when there was no movement and all of that. So we schooled from home and all of that. I realized that um BIM was not it for me. I began to see that BIM was not it for me. I began to see people around me. I mean, I was in a house where 70% of all of them in that house studying project management, right? And I was the only one studying BIM. And then it was a bit flexible for them. I mean, that program at that time was very flexible for them. But for me, as a BIM student, at that time, it wasn't flexible for me. You know, I wasn't really enjoying the program. And then I would be very honest. The fact that I had to be at home for 5 days in front of my laptop studying was a big problem for me as an immigrant. I needed to work. So now at that point, it was more of, do you want to go into project management? I wouldn't say I was trying to follow the bandwagon. at that point, it was more of having a self-realization that, guy, you're a trained architect, you've handled projects. When you're back home, you're a business person who designed, you delivered high-tech products to companies. You are literally a project manager. Like inherently, you are a project manager. And then I began the switch. And in all honesty, I just woke up one day and transferred my MSc program. I mean, I did a change of course and all of that. And then I switched into project management immediately. And for me, that was beginning for me, moving into project management. I just woke up one day and I was like, nah, I'm not doing BIM anymore. I've got some transferable skills. I've been doing projects. I literally designed buildings when I was back home. Start the construction, actually end up delivering the building project to someone. So that's me running the project anyway.
That's a complete project, yeah.
Yeah, that's a complete project. So, and as many people will also know, we are project managers inherently. For you to want to move houses, it's a project. You have to search you have to search for houses in the location you're going to. You're going to have to do some sort of analysis. You're going to pay for that house. You're going to book a vehicle that's going to help you move the luggages. So those are activities and tasks that will lead you from point A to point B. And project management is just you trying to make sure that you achieve an endeavor, which is moving from point A to point B, right? Managing the whole situation, managing resources, managing people, managing your money to achieve that endeavor. So that's project management at the end of the day. So yeah,
basically, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you're trying to tell me, because I'm really most people that want to transition into project management, some people just want to do better, earn better, and improve their lives. So basically, you came into the UK during lockdown pandemic. That's about 3-4 years ago. And in 3-4 years, you're telling me that you now handle project of over 40 million pound that's in affiliation to the UK government. So that means in a space of how long will it take, for example, someone who wants to start into project management to get to the point of doing what you do and securing their role?
Well, honestly, I would say it has to come with some sort of some confidence, very high level confidence, some bravery. You've got to be very brave. I mean, in a very local order, I would say you need to have mind. I mean, have that mind, have that mind that you can actually do anything. For me,
just believe in yourself, basically.
Just believe in yourself. Like, I can smash it. I can do anything. You absolutely don't have any limit. Don't see yourself as being blocked. Believe that you can actually do anything. Right? For me, if you had asked me this question 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would probably have put it in line. I don't see myself doing that. I mean, I'm not going to see myself in where I am at this point, right? But the point is, it got to a point where I actually told myself that I can actually do it. I want to do. And this also stems from my own personal experience. I've done so many things in the past. And when I sit down and reflect and tell myself and ask myself that, well, you actually did this. You did this. Come on, there's actually nothing you can't do, to be honest. So it's more of trying to evaluate yourself as a person, reflect on your past experiences, right? And also having that level of self-confidence. Because as an immigrant, coming into another country, it kills your self-confidence. Actually feels like you don't fit into the setting, you don't fit into the box,
you have a cultural shock.
Yeah, you've got a cultural shock. The fact that you're black, the fact that you need a visa, and all of this, all of these things just makes you feel like you don't fit in and all of that. And it kind of, reduces our self-confidence. A lot of us have done big, mega things back home. When we get here, we now feel very small. So these are the things that you need to like shake up. And, you have to tell yourself that, you can absolutely do anything. You can hit anything, right?
Yeah.
So it's more of evaluating yourself, telling yourself that you can actually do anything, be anything. And also, I think one more thing I think that really helped me, that shaped me was I got into meeting very influential people, but not so influential in a way, but people that are actually doing well in their careers. I met them quite early when I got into UK. I saw Nigerians like myself in working in the council as an architect. I've met someone as a lawyer. Nigerians, not even Nigerians alone, but also people from other African countries doing well in their careers. So I'm like, if these people can do these things, if they can be earning this much,
So could
absolutely I
you?
can actually do this thing.
Yeah.
So by the time you start seeing people that you are aiming to be like, you have directions with them, you have conversations with them, you ask them about the experiences, how they do stuff, how they were able to move out of the box, because everybody has a story. Everybody moving to this country as an immigrant has a story. So, and you find out that they are no longer where they used to be. So I would say for someone who wants to transition to project management, you need to um you need to be confident. You can come into the country and get a project management job, high paid project management job within 6 months. That's when you level up. I've seen
Confidence.
people do it. Yeah,
Mm.
I've seen people do it. So
So
yeah, it comes
basically,
down to the confidence.
from what I pick on what you're saying is that you had uh, influence from colleagues that you saw that your job role was yeah, study methods or how the study was flexible, and you had influence or more like mentorship, not direct mentorship, but people around you who have gone ahead in your career that are doing well, that also influenced your decision, shaped your perspective, helped you see things in a different light. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Absolutely. That's you're just right on the spot on that one.
So what are the for your previous experience? You mentioned that you had previous experience in doing projects that helped you transition. So what are some transferable skills that you felt that someone moving into project management might need at this time to survive in the space?
Yeah. So interesting question. So last week I had a conversation with my line manager at work, and then we were talking, and then she said, she said something. She said, "Do you know that project management, 60% of project management is actually people management,
Mm.
right?" So at the end of the
People
day,
management.
in all honesty, in my day-to-day job, I only mind, I only have conversations. I'm not really doing any very serious technical thing, right? So when it comes to transferable skills, in project management, you can weave it into two places. You can divide it into two places. You can say soft skills or people skills. I would
Mm.
prefer people skills and then technical skills. So, like I said before, we are all project managers in there. So we've got some sort of people skills, one way or the other. I mean, everybody can communicate. I mean, not everybody might be able to communicate very well, but in
Effectively, yeah. Mhm.
effectively. But then, in some level, we've got communication skills, collaboration skills, some sort of negotiation skills. Some of us know how to price things. I mean, these are just basic day-to-day life skills that we use, right? So I would say the first thing is to be able to even analyze the kind of skills you have, right?
Mm.
And put them
Yeah.
in people skills, technical skills. Now, people skills, how much people skills do I have? What gap do I have in terms of my people skills? What is it that I do not know how to do very well? What is it that I actually know how to do very well? I mean, I think one for me was I felt like I'm a very shy person, right? And I had some sort of gap in my own communication skills. I knew that do I like to actually stand in front of people? Do I actually like to have meetings and all of that? Because in project management, you do a lot of meetings. You facilitate a lot of meetings. So I just told myself that if you're going to be in a project, if you're going to be a project manager and you really want to excel as a project manager, you need to sharpen your communication skill. Right.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
knew there and there that now I would have to be speaking in public. I would have to communicate with people, either verbally, um, or or by writing. So I needed to sharpen whatever skills that you have had before. So those are transferable skills that I've built from from school, from
Mm.
interaction with people, from businesses and
People,
all of that.
colleagues, yeah.
In business, all of that. So analyzing your people skills, analyzing what people skills you require to be a successful project manager. And this is very simple. Get a list of people skills required to be a successful project manager on Indeed. Just go look for some job descriptions, some on LinkedIn. Search for project manager roles, project associate roles. You'll see a lot of skills, soft skills that are required. And then do a gap analysis. Try to analyze yourself. What is it I can do successfully? I am very confident of here. What is it I'm very effective in? Or what is my strength? What is my strength in? Out of all of these soft skills, then you analyze that, start to develop the ones that you're not very great at. Then technical skills in project management as well. You can also find that in job descriptions as well. You can list them out. You see skills such as stakeholder management, risk management, change management, transition management. There are a lot of these are I'm now I'm really going technical in project management. But then these are skills that you can develop. You can actually learn about them. So you being able to actually separate them into two, analyze them properly, look for those gaps that you actually have in any of those things. I can tell you can do all of that. You successful as a project manager. You'll be able to get roles as a project manager.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And you hear here that project PMP, right? Project Management Professional Certification, Agile, Scrum, Prince 2, so many certifications basically. So are these certifications compulsory? Are they necessary, or you can get a role without any of the certifications basically? So what's really obtainable in the industry?
Okay. This question is a very very popular question. So in my experience, I would use my experience as an example. First of all, you can get a project manager role or a project management role without certifications. That's standard. Secondly, you need to understand what domain in project management you want to move, because that's what is going to guide you on what type of certification you do, or what kind of knowledge you try to chase, or what kind of skill or qualification you need to have.
So when you say domain, basically, before you go further, can you just break it into bits and pieces so we can understand? Like someone like myself, that I'm not a project manager, I can really get the knowledge of what you're saying.
So when we talk of domain, we'd say IT. IT is a domain.
Okay.
That's IT project management. Construction is a domain. AEC is called Architecture, Engineering, and Construction Industry. So they need project managers in construction, like everybody knows. There's healthcare as well. You could be a project manager within the healthcare space. There's aviation. Could be a project manager in aviation. You could be a project manager in engineering and manufacturing, right? People that organizations that actually manufacture stuff, right? They need project managers as well. So there's also some sort of project management needed in charity, right? That a lot of charity organizations they need project management. So because I've mentioned about 4 domains, and there are much more domains that I've not even listed. I've mentioned IT, I've mentioned charity, I've mentioned healthcare, I've mentioned aviation, I've mentioned manufacturing. However, if you were going to look at it on a very holistic view, I would literally just group this into IT and construction, right? IT and construction. So when you decide if you want to work in IT, and if you want, because those two domains are very distinct domains, they don't have the same qualifications. Yes, they might have some qualifications that are quite similar to them, but they've got some very distinct features and distinct roles. As an IT project manager, what you do is different from what you do as a construction project manager, right? When it comes to IT, you are literally just more like doing transformation, digital transformation projects within your organization, or actually designing and developing digital products. That is IT. When it comes to construction, you're definitely looking at buildings, trying to, development of capital projects, bridges, roads, luxury apartments and all of that. So you can see that they are quite distinct domains. And when it comes to construction, you got to start to think about things in the lines of health and safety, building regulations, and all of that. So they are quite very distinct roles that once you decide that, okay, there are two domains, where do I want to fit into this, or where do I fit into in these domains? And then that's where you consider your previous experience. Have you done anything relating to buildings in the past? Have you done anything relating to IT in the past? Maybe you were a computer engineer, or you are a computer scientist, and computer science and all of that. And then you want to go into program management. Obviously, you can immediately know that you will fit into IT, right? And coming into construction, imagine you trained as an architect and all of that, or maybe you studied building or real estate in school. Obviously, you are training towards construction. So that means that those two domains would help you to guide you to where your strength lies, where your previous or past experience is, where your strengths are. And also, I also want to mention that despite the fact you were in construction or maybe started as an architect, still doesn't mean you can't transform into IT. Nothing stops the other one, but it's just you being able to maximize what worked for you best, where your strength lies, and where you can easily get a job. In my own case, I joined as an architect back home. I did construction projects. My first job in this country was a project coordinator in a construction company. Now, I remember then getting that job. I think one of the things that helped me get the job was the fact that I was an architect. In fact, I remember in that building, that organization, when they were trying to introduce me around the people in generation, when my manager was trying to introduce other people in generation. Yeah, hi, meet Fope, blah blah blah. Is the only architect in our building. I was like, wow. So I'm actually being respected here because I'm an
architect.
Okay. So that was strength. So
that was like a leverage.
Exactly, that was a leverage for me. So even though I was black, I was still the only very technical person when it comes to textual drawing, reading drawings, and doing all of that. That was my strength. That was how I was able to get into that role, right? So you could easily see that if I had jumped into IT at first, it was going to be difficult. And I got my job, my first role as a project coordinator, I think 3 months after finishing uni. So it was very quick, right? So that was me trying to leverage my past experience, my past skill, my past qualification, and getting a job in the construction industry. So that put me ahead, right? So yeah, I don't know if I've answered the question.
Yes, you did. And you mentioned so many things about your experiencing, leveraging and experiencing. So, for example, an hypothetical situation. Somebody listening to this podcast randomly on Apple Music or Amazon Music, and he or she is probably stuck in a warehouse trying to break out from that warehouse, and is probably coming from India or Pakistan, literally has no previous experience. Those been to college might have not, and has the desire to transition into project management, and they're confident in themselves because they have the people and the so-called technical skills that can be learned probably from a boot camp, or you don't have to go to college for that, and they really don't have the experience. Or someone in a care home currently is trying to they're still in a survivor mode, basically, that wants to secure a role as a project manager. So does that mean they cannot, because of they don't have the previous required technical experience?
Well, no. You don't actually have any experience to be a project manager or work in the project management space. You don't need any experience. As a matter of fact, most project managers have been able to work so far. Most of them did not study project management. Most of them did not actually initially have project management qualifications. Some were in banking and finance. Some were sales sales reps at Asda and Tesco, right? So like I've met so many people that absolutely have no experience of project management from scratch. So for people like that, I think the first point of call would be to actually, ask yourself like what you really to just ask yourself what you want really. And then try to go into researching about project management. Try to see what are the possibilities of project management in this for instance in this location, in this UK or in my environment, wherever I'm living. What opportunities can I get as a project manager? Read about project management on a broad level. Like what is project management? Type on YouTube. What is it project management is on? What is it that these guys actually do? Right. So that's like the first thing. To actually just a basic understanding of what project managers do. And you can find a lot of this information. It's just everyone. Now, so when you find out that this is what people do, these people that call themselves project managers, this point now is trying to now see what are the gaps that I have. What is it that I am missing that I don't have that I need to learn to get me into this role? What is it that I already have or I can transfer from my previous job, even as a healthcare support worker or as a what's it called? As someone working in the factory. For instance, look at this scenario. You work as a healthcare support, all right? And I know one of the skills working in that space is to be empathetic, to be kind, to be able to communicate well, right? Now, I'm going to pick one, being empathetic, right? One of the critical skills of a project manager is emotional intelligence. You need to be emotionally intelligent. You work as a project manager, effective, right? Part of being emotionally intelligent, empathetic, is to actually consider people, right? To be kind to people. As a project manager, if you are not kind or you are not empathetic towards your project, right? You don't understand their concerns or you don't listen to them. You don't take your time to actually understand what is actually bothering them. You will not have a success, right? Because, like I said before, project management has a lot to do with people skills,
People management.
right? So you know how to manage it. Project managers are not the one doing the job. They're not actually doing that. They're not actually the ones doing the technical bit of the work. We're actually managing those people doing it. So, for instance, you're not empathetic, or you are not self-aware, right? You're not able to communicate, at the level of probably to the people the kind of people you're working with. You're not able to communicate well. You're not able to, you're not calm enough to understand their situation. How would you motivate them to get the job done, right? So, as basic as it can be, wherever role, wherever place you find yourself, there's some sort of project management skill that you are exhibiting and that you are doing. And this is enough for you taking to any job.
To secure your first role.
That is enough to secure your first job. Now, a good one is another example I would like to give is I remember, I think I was speaking with one of the people that interviewed me in my current job, and I met them somewhere in the building work. I had even forgotten, but they remember me because obviously they can easily recognize me. So they saw me, guy was not congratulating me that I did well in my interview, blah blah blah. And there was something that struck him about me. Like I was very enthusiastic. I was very, very enthusiastic about the job. I was very happy. And I think that really put me in a very good position to get the job. And honestly, I wasn't really conscious of that. I just knew that I wanted the job. I was really happy. I was smiling at people. I was smiling at them during the interview. But I was radiating positive energy with them in the interview. This guy was telling me that it was the way I was looking at their faces, that I wasn't even looking at one person. I was looking at all of them. I was happy. I was energetic. I was just so happy about the job. I was already seeing myself in the job before I got the job. And that really spoke well for me in the interviews. And that was not my technical skill. That was not project management in a way. That was not any specialty. That was just me, my
Your
personality,
personality.
the
Yeah.
person, and that stood out for them, for me, and then, because at the end of the day, you are going to be working with people. So no matter how technical or knowledgeable you are, if they cannot work with you, you won't get the job. Do you get the point? So
Yeah, I do.
it's very interesting that, getting the project management role goes beyond just those technical project management. It actually is more about people skills. Honestly, it's more about your people skills and your communication skills, and these are inherent in our daily lives. And we do
Their
these things every day.
lives. So the skills, the technical and people skill required for project management roles are literally overlapping in every other industries. So no matter the
Absolutely.
industries that you are, you can
Yep.
there are transferable skills that can be relevant in the project management space. So definitely, if you're from a warehouse worker, you're healthcare assistant, whatever role you are, that means what Mr. Fokba is trying to tell us now is that you can develop yourself to a level where you also manage a 40 million pound project.
Correct. Yeah. And then one more thing I think I missed out was selling yourself. Because I think one of the things that we suffer most, or that I've seen based on my interaction with people or my communication with a lot of, let me say, Nigerians in a way, is that we do not know how to sell ourselves. A lot of us have done a lot of great things in the past, but we do not know how to sell ourselves. There's a different thing for you to actually know how to do something very good at doing a job or doing a particular thing. And there's a different thing for you to actually act still yourself that you can do that thing.
Mm.
So, and most of us that find ourselves in menial jobs is only because we are unable to tell ourselves very well, right? You imagine you working in a warehouse where every week, maybe you are rolling out 500 products every week. Every day. You are rolling out 500 products to be delivered somewhere every day. And you're part of the factory workers that do all of those jobs. Or maybe your own bit is just to arrange and pack. By the time you sell yourself, or when you meet people that actually know how to sell you, the way they will articulate what you have just done, right, will blow your mind. You'll be wondering that I'm just a normal night worker now. Maybe I was just there, I was just here, just trying to help them arrange boxes. By the time they are done telling you that what you have done is that you've been able to successfully make 500 products. You've supported the delivery of 500 products, say 15 large supermarkets, right, within a day, which is going to impact about 5,000 people in that locality. Can you see the impact of what you just done within 1 hour or 8 hours, right? So it's about being able to sell yourself, right? Now, I was just using that as an example, but then most of us that have done jobs in Nigeria, been in different positions, even those of us that do not have jobs, are actually run our own businesses. Look at the impacts you've made. Look at the things that you've been able to achieve. Sell that thing. Send it to your prospective employer. Tell them that this is what I've been able to do. This is my impact. These are the people I have worked with. This is the money I've generated. Right. One of the interviews I did back then, I know they asked me what kind of projects have I done. I looked at it. I remember I was working on Oshodi terminal. I was when I worked on in Lagos. I worked on Oshodi terminal. Oshodi terminal is a 150 million Oshodi bus terminal. Yeah, Oshodi bus terminal is a 150 million naira, $150 million project. And I looked at it, and I was like, wow. So I was part of the people that actually worked on this project. I was able to say that in my interview that yes, I was one of the architects that designed this and this for the $150 million project. Anybody that hears that you worked on the $150 million project definitely put some respect on your name
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you obviously did, right?
It,
So
it shows the fact that you know what you're doing.
exactly. So all those little tiny details that you've been involved with in the past actually has an impact. You should be able to sell it and use that to your advantage, right? So those are the things, those are the ways that you can actually break out of wherever we are at the moment, right? Sell yourself. That's it. And you can sell yourself via your CV, sell yourself how you talk, how you put yourself out there, right? You can start setting yourself on LinkedIn, even if you don't have a job. Doesn't mean you can't make LinkedIn posts. Social media is here everywhere now. You can start talking about a particular topic. You can start talking about a particular product. That is how you sell yourself. Put yourself out there, right? Whatever you've been able to do in the past, you've been successful at in the past, or whether you wasn't successful, but you've been involved, you need to still use that
Yeah.
to sell yourself.
So majorly you use social media to build a body of work around what you want to present to the public.
Absolutely.
So looking at the landscape of artificial intelligence,
Yep.
we have ChatGPT, we have Claude AI, now we're having DeepSeek, and
Okay.
it's causing a lot of tremor and emotional
Yeah,
uh
yeah, yeah.
stuffs in the industry, and people are concerned about losing their jobs. And somebody's trying to get into this space to get into project management space, and there are AIs that can do things faster than you can think. Before you're trying to put something together, an AI has already written out the script and done all, and it is giving you a start to finish of an entire project.
Correct.
So how do you, as somebody get into the space or somebody in the space already, future proof your career as a project management using AI?
So I'm going to tie this back to what I've said, and which is I said 60% of project management is people management.
People management, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So you see that human factor, AI can never take it.
That's true.
AI is never going to be emotionally intelligent. AI is not going to be negotiating with customers. AI is not going to be motivating customers, right? It's not going to be motivating your project, right? AI is not going to be communicating for you, right? So yes, AI will definitely have a space, and which is what it has started doing already. There are a lot of AI tools. There are a lot of what was it called? Platforms where you can actually use AI to get the job done. But AI will not eliminate project manager's job, right? Because there's a human factor. There's a human-centered skill involved in being a project manager. So, but where AI take away administrative, because as a project manager, you definitely have some repetitive,
Yeah.
which is where AI will come in. AI will help you to automate those tasks. AI will help you to do those tasks effectively. AI will save your time. And for instance, one thing that people need to actually look out for or learn or take out time to learn is regenerative AI, which is the use of ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek, and all of that. All of that. This kind of product or platforms will continue to evolve, and it's just a matter of you being able to maximize this to support your project. Right? And there are a lot of tools as well that have some sort of AI features with them. Jira, for instance, has AI features in it. I know Sana also has that. Monday.com has that. These are project management tools, right? But they've got AI features in them. So it's just a matter of you being able to maximize those AI features, help you deliver your work, right? So the most important thing is focus on the generative AI, right? Which is learning how to use this tool, right? To get out results. And one good thing about AI, this is going to be entirely another conversation, right? Using AI to advance project management, advance your work on project management is what you put into an AI platform. How you put it into it is what's back.
Give back to you, yeah.
Exactly. So that is where, and that's where my point on the generative AI comes in. People need to learn how to do generative AI. It's not just about there's ChatGPT, there's DeepSeek, and all of that. There's a way I will use ChatGPT, and you will use ChatGPT, and our results will be different.
Absolutely.
So that's where it comes in. The dynamics about AI, whether it's the future of work, whether it's going to make us lose our job. This is all where it comes in. You've been able to maximize this to automate your task, your regular task. For instance, in a day, sometimes I do a lot of administrative tasks, checking my emails, replying to emails, setting up meetings, responding to queries and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
AI bots, chatbots can easily do all of these things, right? So I'm still a work in progress as well in that space because some of us are just use some manual tasks. Right? While some organizations, I don't know, even push you to use AI. My organization accepting AI because there's some sort of regulatory uh, issues with AI in some organizations. Some organizations that are working with government and all of that. There's some sort of information they
Yeah,
don't
you
want
can't put sensitive information on those
on
platforms.
AI. Yeah. So these are the reasons why it's not fully adopted at the moment. And it might not eventually be fully adopted in all organizations. And that is why I was keep saying that AI will not take project manager job. It will even make us have more jobs.
Yeah, make you proficient as a
Exactly.
project manager and much more effective.
Exactly.
No. So
Yeah.
let's really get to talking about money, really. As someone getting into this space, maybe you're listening from America, listening from anywhere in the world. What is how high can you go? One, that's I want to put two questions in one. How high can you go in terms of monetary remuneration and what's like the basic start in terms, yeah,
Well,
how much can you earn basically?
um, as a project manager, in all honesty, I think what every project manager will be aiming to be um, at the end of their career, so maybe the highest form of their career would be probably a consultant. And as a consultant, you would consulted by probably organizations, say like the UK government entity, a a charity organization, for instance, or even individuals, wealthy individuals can consult you for their projects. So I think that's the highest level you can go to. And at that level, you can typically earn as much as you can, in all honesty. And when I say earn, you can if you're in the UK, you can earn as much as £500,000, right?
In a year.
But yeah, in a year, yes, yeah. So I mean, that's possible. And for a fact, I know people who earn £10,000 a year as a project manager in this country, right? They've gotten those, they have the experience. They work on very sensitive and big projects, right? So, but as a starter, I think getting into the project manager role or project management role, because, project management has a lot of roles, a lot of roles from entry level to mid level to senior level. So from entry level, we can start to look at project associate, project assistants, project support, and project administrators. They typically will not earn so much money, right, from the start because it's more like an entry role, more like an administrative role, administrative project manager. A project in its entirety is a mid-level role, or I would say senior role, because at that point, you are actually managing people. They are managing projects, right? So it's a senior role or a mid-level role. So, and at that point, I would say the minimum you would earn as a project manager, generally in the UK, based on research and all of these published journals, probably be around £45,000 per month. So starting salary as a project manager would be £45,000 upwards. However, in government organization or civil service, somewhere like the NHS, for instance, getting into project management roles in the NHS is not typically is or is easier if you start as an entry level. When you look at, I mean, this is off my own personal research. When I look at when I did research on kind of project managers within the NHS, I realized that most of them started as project associates, project assistants, and they were able to rise up project manager role. So when it comes to civil service, NHS, that's the trajectory. They prefer people starting from scratch. In fact, there are some roles that they're not even put to the pocket. They are only for for their internal staff.
Internal
Right.
roles, yeah.
Then at the end of the day, there's this sort of bands within the civil service. By the time you start as a project, I know in NHS, an assistant project manager in the NHS is the band 6 worker, the band 6 star. The project manager role in NHS is a band 7. Then when you start to look at senior project managers, they have band 8, program managers, they have band 8A and all of that. Getting into those roles as an external person, especially maybe you want to get into a band 8, it's going to be very difficult because they would expect somebody to be in a band 7 to go to a band 8. Right. So that is how the dynamics work within the civil service. But outside in the private world, in business world, there's no limit to how much you can actually earn. Organizations like Vodafone pay as much as £80,000 annually project managers. Microsoft more than 100K for project and product managers and all of that. So, I mean, I would say if you're gonna be looking at making so much money as a project manager, right, you would end up being a consultant. But earning well, earning good, a decent salary is very possible in project in the UK or anywhere. And I know of the US. In the US pays a lot project managers. Average salary for a project manager in the UK is $100K, $100,000. Right.
Yeah.
So, and then when you compare that to Australia as well, they pay. I think UK probably the lowest I've seen.
Okay. So basically, what you're trying to tell me is that if I start my journey today, in 6 months or less, I can earn 30 to 35,000 pounds in a year.
Absolutely, yes. You can hear. I would say that's even the lowest you can earn. If you start your journey today, lowest you can earn as a project manager is 30 to 35,000. So 35,000 pounds. And then coupled with the fact that we also need to start to look beyond the money. When I say beyond the money, so there's this bit about project management, which is actually giving you the space to actually live your life. And I think that was it for me. Because
the flexibility and
the flexibility that
more
comes
working
with
hybrid.
Exactly. Being able to work from home, being able to work remotely, and there are so many project manager roles that you literally have to work physically, right? You need to be there. But then there's still a whole lot of roles that don't really physical presence, right? And if I compare that to other professions, for instance, as a doctor, you need to be on ground as a doctor. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
You won't get that
interesting.
You won't get that flexibility as a doctor. Well, as a project manager, you have the flexibility. You can work. I know someone who works remotely from the US and he works in the UK, he works for the NHS. But you to see how he's working intercontinentally. I mean, if that's the word. So I think the profession just gives you the opportunity. One, being able to earn as much as you want to earn. You might not necessarily become a millionaire from being a project manager, but you'll be able to live a good life. You have that work-life balance, which is I think is the most important thing. Being able to actually work and live your life. And that's, for me, it's the most beautiful thing that project management can do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fope, for the insights you're giving us so far on project management. And I know a lot of people are very curious on how to reach you, because one of the things I know you do personally is you do personal tailored sessions with people on how to help them to secure their role, like an handheld experience, not just a boot camp when they send you off. So how do we reach you if we want to? Can you tell us about the program that you run on such get it? Because the goal is to get the job and get the money. For someone like me, is to get the money and also get yeah. I don't see myself in things like that. You get the job, you get the money, and then you get the flexibility that comes with it. Having to stay with your family, having to your time, your me sessions, having to commute, drive on M1 to work and all of that. So tell us about the program that you run basically so that our audience can be aware of it.
Yeah. So what I do is that actually help aspiring project managers, aspiring project professionals. I will not say project manager because there's so many roles within project management that do not specific project manager, right? So I help people get project management roles. I guide them, typically just have like a tailored session with them. So I believe in actually sharing personal experiences. I believe in actually taking through taking people through what I went through, right? Making their lives easier. I would say giving them a shortcut to actually getting their roles faster, and not just getting any role, a high paying role, letting them know what certifications are best and when to actually do them. There's so many certifications, for instance, and for someone like me, um, there's a certification I did, PMP, really helped me, really positioned me well. A lot of people will not tell you all of these things, right? And also the fact that we are going to be able to have some sort of professional relationship even after the training, which is going to be, more a mentoring relationship where we share insights, we share ideas, even at you after you get in your job. Because when you get your job, it doesn't mean you're not going to face challenges, right?
Mm.
You're still going to face challenges. And then one of the perks about the program I do, the one sessions I do with people is that continues even after you get your job. So you get support after the job, you get support for interviews. Interestingly, some of my students, I share with them my interview recordings and all of that. Some of the interviews I've done in the past, some of the things I've said, they can even listen to them and see what I said well and what I didn't say well, and then you can
Yeah.
use that to prepare
To
your own
to
interview
land
as
your
well.
to land your
Yeah.
role.
So I do tailored sessions for people because everybody's journey is different. Your experiences are different. For people that have project management experience, for people that absolutely have no idea of what project management is, and people that actually have the knowledge, have the experience, but they still want to go higher in whatever role they are. So
Mm.
my job or my passion is actually helping people to go from where they are to where they want to be, right? Especially in the project management. Yeah, that's what I do.
Thank you very much for that. So, I don't know if you have any last words for us who are also trying to get on the ladder of being on a 40 million pound project as well. Maybe some daily routine habits, some of the things you
Yeah.
do. Maybe you go to gym. Maybe you some
Mm.
things that we can do to become better versions of ourselves. Any last words, Miss?
I think my last words something called binge reading. I think
Binge reading. Okay.
one of the things that helped me to where I am at the moment, and the other things that I'm doing in my life is binge reading. So when I say binge reading, it's all about you picking up some sort of information somewhere and just trying to stop that information as fast as you could, even though it might not make sense to you. But then the fact that you are reading it, it's going to be lying in your subconscious in one way or the other.
Yeah.
Know about this thing, think about it, or relate about it. For instance, when it came to project management, even though I studied project management eventually, I still didn't really understand the concept of being a project manager. Like, I really did not understand what they do. Okay, yeah, project manager, they manage projects and all of that. But I didn't really understand it. So what I was able to do then was start to binge read, just read articles, read day in the life of a project manager. What has this particular person done as a project manager? What projects has he done? What is his lifestyle? I mean, reading abroad across all perspectives of different people, reading biographies of project managers, right? Reading their life history. I mean, I just read everything about project management. So that was one of the things that actually, you know, just made me to tell myself project manager. I just subconsciously began to tell myself I'm a project manager because I read anything project manager. Once I see it, I read it, right? I read articles, I watch YouTube videos. I could spend a whole day on YouTube just watching different project management podcasts, right? Just listening to what they are saying, right? And that has really helped me. And I think anybody that wants to get into anything, not specifically project management, but then any other thing that they might, you know, that they want to be, where they want to be, that maybe that aligns with their future goals or whatever. I think the first starting point is being read. At every small space you have, just read about it. Sometimes when I go to work, before I got a project manager job, I will read about project manager at my job when I have free time, right? I can buy a book on Amazon and just go and read read in between my free time or my free period, just for you to and that's just some sort of commitment that I did for project management. Another one thing I also want to say is I remember when I was working in a particular facility about 2 or 3 years ago. I remember I would take my laptop and run because I usually have 1 hour break. I'll take my laptop and run. For that 1 hour, I would say I want to learn something today about project management. Right. And till today, those sessions that I've done for myself, were it was difficult, but I'm now reaping the values. I'm reaping because now I'm happier. It was exactly where I want to be. I'm now exactly where I want to be. Back then, it was looking like, will you be able to get to that point? I mean, all these things that you're reading doesn't even make sense. But now everything now makes sense to me. So binge reading is one thing. Binge reading. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows about it or people do it. I mean, I know people will randomly be doing this, but they should see it as a tool that can actually take them from where they are, where they want to, where they're going to join. That's one thing I've really.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fope, for taking our time to be with us here on the show. We know you're a busy person. For someone to be running a 40 million pound project, you know you're gonna have a lot. You'll be getting you was difficult. Thank you very
I
much for
mean,
that. We're
thank you so
very
much.
grateful for your time, and we hope that some other times when we call you to have other conversations, might not necessarily project management, maybe something about
Yep.
investing, how to manage life, family life, and all of that. And we hope you will find time to be with us. So thank you very much, and that'll be the end of our session today. And if you have not liked, subscribe, click the like and smash button, and we'll see you on the next show. Thank you very much. All right,
Thank
bye.
you. Bye, Innocent. Thank you for having me. Cheers, everyone.